time for the Personal Finance Corner. As always, we've got our in-house personal finance expert, Fee D'Souza, to take it forward. Fee?
We're going to find out how it makes sense to invest in a low-cost mutual fund and how that adds to your results finally at the end of 10 years. Let's bring in Dhirendra Kumar. Dhirendra, there's a very interesting AMC I want to focus on today, and this is Quantum because of its cost structures. Now, the AMC fixes its expenses far lower than the rest of the industry. Now, first of all, how can a company manage to conduct business when in an already very trying time for the mutual fund industry? And how much of a difference really does it make, this lower income?
No, it's a matter of choice. If a company decides to make less money and spend less, mind you, this is a company which is not loss-making. It is still making profit, and it is able to do it with a far lower cost structure. The cost structure of most other fund companies is very different, and it is different because is a different meaning much higher. And of course, this fund company sells its funds directly. It has far lower overhead in terms of marketing, sales, or nationwide sales structure. It is primarily targeting its funds as a do-it-yourself investor, and doing it in such an efficient manner that this is a fund which has to be bought. This fund is not sold, and that to a great extent those costs are lower. But besides that, the fund company is fairly focused on cost in the sense that lower cost translates into superior return, and that seems to be the case in the superior performance of this fund as well.
Well, Dhirendra, if the low cost is really a USP for the fund, then as an investor, for those of us who are watching right now, does that low cost really offer an advantage? Is it reason enough for us to pick these funds and invest in them?
Yes, lower expense is always an advantage. Everything else being equal. Look at Quantum Long-Term Equity Fund. Assuming that this fund, and there is another fund which does just as well, but because this fund is charging, the highest expense that it levies right now is 1.25%, while most other funds will be charging a minimum of about 2.5%, or maybe more, 2.8%, maybe more. And so this is a clear 1.25% advantage, cost advantage, which will translate into superior performance. So on a 10-year basis, this will translate into something very meaningful for investors. So everything else being equal, lower cost should be the preferred vehicle.
Alright, so lower cost should be a preferred vehicle, especially if you're a do-it-yourself investor and you don't mind picking your own funds. You'll save the money there on what you'd otherwise pay your agent. We have a question from one of our viewers, Dhirendra. Amit has written in. He's 31 years old. He wants to put together a corpus of 3 crore rupees in the next 20 years, and he can put aside 10,000 rupees every month. He wants to know if he should be investing in multiple mutual funds and how he should put his portfolio together. What advice could you give him?
My suggestion will be that you choose a diversified vehicle. Don't get into a small and mid-cap fund. Don't get into a large-cap fund. Don't get into a sector fund, and don't get into a thematic fund. Be into an all-equity fund which can invest across the spectrum, market spectrum. And I would say that fund from our growth portfolio or aggressive growth portfolio, but the diversified one, something like Quantum Long-Term Equity or UTI equity or something like ICICI Prudential Dynamic Fund. These are broad-based funds which invest across the market spectrum. These are the funds which you should be considering, and be at it. Invest regularly, and don't get swayed by poor performance over a period of time, because that is a time when investors, when they continue investing, that translates into superior performance.